Good morning, Jean. How are you today?
Hi, Emily. How are you?
Good.
Good.
Here we are, back at it. No commercial breaks. I'll let you shout the subject out either excitedly or cautiously about what we're talking about today.
Well, I think we should always be cautious when we're talking about AI. And, I feel like, oh my gosh, every conference you go to, every trade article you read, like you can't escape it, right? It's just everywhere.
Mhm.
And I don't know if you're like me, you kind of just gloss over it and go, I'm not using that. And, it doesn't really apply to me, but that's not the case. I mean, everyone
Yeah.
has to be aware of it. And so we're just going to, I think, talk a little bit about how it affects the video world
Yep.
and what could be happening with AI and our video streaming.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember years ago, when I first heard the buzzword, I was like, honestly, I had to shamelessly admit I had to look it up and
Yeah.
figure out what it was, right? And then now I have a marketing firm, which is awesome. And they've told me, you deserve to get some time back in your day and you should start using it. And so I started dabbling in it. And then the more I learn about it, and there's security concerns and all those things. So I kind of look at this conversation more as a fireside chat, maybe as we go down what it can offer, but also be cautiously optimistic and self-aware in how you're using the tool. So why don't we start with some of your initial thoughts on AI in the video industry?
Yeah. Well, like last week, Nielsen came out with their gauge, you know, measurements of streaming channels. And once again, YouTube, not YouTube TV, but YouTube, the app,
Yeah.
user generated content was number one in viewership among all the other apps. Most people are watching YouTube. So that's user generated content. Well, a lot of AI content, is people creating using the AI tools and creating content. And so the studios and all these creative types, there's like we started out, is this good or is it bad? And
Right.
so there's this caution and like, well, we've got to use these tools that are here. It's going to save us cost. It's going to save, well, mainly it's going to save them cost, but it's also going to get more people involved and get some more creative minds involved. So Zumo, the founder of that, recently raised $4 million to start an AI studio, completely AI content studio. And so he thinks that's going to be very much like a community powered approach. So, like YouTube, that's how I started this. YouTube being one of the most watched streamers,
Yeah.
is this AI studio going to become one of the most watched because you and I could create our own little show or sitcom or movie and put it, sell it to the studio and they might pick it up. And then like we could tell all of our friends, like, hey, we made a movie and it's
Right.
there and you can watch it. And so it opens it up to more and more people where you don't have to be the child of a Hollywood actor or director anymore to get your content out there is kind of what I guess I would say some of the benefit is to it.
Yeah.
But then, the caution in my mind, and I'm always thinking of how much we pay for things.
Yeah.
Are we
Right. Yes.
paying a lot of money for just computer generated content that costs like nothing?
Right.
Why should we pay so much for something that costs so little? So that's always my concern on it. I
Right.
look at the financials of it.
Yeah. No, that makes absolute sense because you can argue it's not original, but it could just be a tool, so it's still original content. So absolutely, I can see if they're having all those cost savings, then there should be some passed on, which realistically isn't going to happen.
And I guess too, like if the content is quality and there's demand for it and people want it, then like it's capitalism. Okay, then it's worth something. If people want it, it doesn't matter how much it costs to make.
Yeah.
If there's a demand for it, it's worth something. And I just look at like the AI trend right now. I'm sure you guys have seen it. The AI babies that are, reenacting scenes from your favorite sitcoms and movies and everything. I mean, those are funny and, but I don't think I would pay for it. If it wasn't free in my social media feed, I wouldn't pay for it. But you know what I mean? It's like, okay, some of this is fun and entertaining, and it is entertaining, but like, what is the value of it is, I think, what we have to look at.
Well, and it makes me question, like, so then what is going to be the most valuable? Is it going to be the live events because it's not AI generated? And is it going to be the sports, which has always been, highly rated? And is it going to be community content that you're going to put out to differentiate some of the content that you can have in your lineup? And so, yeah, there can be some benefits in that too. Even if you create your own community content, can you use AI to edit and do things that you don't have the talent to do, but it's actually original content? So I can see a plus in that. I think for me, I struggle with all the data, right, that of ours. Like, there's no privacy anywhere.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
all of our data is out there, and they're using that almost could be against us. So they're force feeding you things that they think you're interested in. And I see it in my kids as they consume their YouTube, right? Then or reels. It's just same with adults, but they don't know as much as we do as adults to be self-aware. So they're being force fed all of this content. And it makes me nervous because we're molding them at the most important time of their lives. And how real is it? And how true is it? And that scares the crap out of me.
Yeah. You got to be questioning, right? Like you got to, I guess, stand up to the man and not let the man tell you what you're watching. And, always be thinking and like, okay, is there something else that I should be watching? Or is there something that I'm missing here? And don't always just, look at those recommendations. And, but, some people really like those recommendations if they work well. And so, I also just read last week that ESPN is looking at totally revamping their flagship show SportsCenter and using AI to make a personalized SportsCenter episode just for you. So like for me, being in Minnesota, I could favorite all my Minnesota teams and then, certain athletes or, whoever I want as my favorite. And then when I watch SportsCenter, it's just my teams. And, I don't have to sit through watching 10 other teams that I don't care about just to get my highlights and my content. And they're talking to their talent about getting comfortable with using your image and your likeness and your voice to create these personalized SportsCenter shows. And I mean, it's like ESPN is our above and beyond our most expensive channel on our lineup.
Yeah.
Is that valuable? Is that a really good thing? Or is that devaluing what we pay for ESPN? I think that's a really good question to think about, and leave comments in the LinkedIn comment section below. What do you think? Is that more valuable or less valuable for ESPN when it's personalized like that?
Well, and I guess it puts you in control, right? Like if you're a diehard sports enthusiast, like it feeds you just what you want and what you care about. And same with when we watch Netflix or whatever else, like we watch content that's relatable to us. So it's using all the data to tell us that. And I'm just like, it's up to us to say, no, we're curious. We want to remain curious and we want to see something. And how easy is it going to be? Because when it's right in front of you that way and it knows who you are, like, do you pigeonhole yourself? I don't know. That's crazy. But do you pigeonhole yourself into being someone that you always have been?
And, the current creative community and, writers and actors, I think they are very cautious with this and with good reason. I think you have to think about, like after an actor has died, you could still use them in movies. You could make a new movie with a young Brad Pitt or, like we talked a couple of weeks ago about my favorite show, The Sopranos. Well, it's like they're never going to be able to redo anything with Sopranos or a spin-off or anything like that because James Gandolfini passed away. Well, now with AI, they could do that. They could have James Gandolfini back in The Sopranos and they could pick up where they left off. And, like I don't know how I feel about that because I love the show and I would love to have more, but I know it's not really him. It's computer generated him. And I don't know how I feel about computer Tony Soprano. So, like it's just, I mean, I don't know what actors and like I said, creative types think about that. But actually, I also read that Google has a department, it's called DeepMind, and they are creating content that shows AI in a positive light. And they are really trying to get people to be on board with AI and how great it is. And so I think it's a real push-pull in the content creation community about
100%.
how much it is helpful and how much it takes away.
Yeah. There's no question. Like when I think AI, the first word that comes to mind is powerful. What would you say? The first word comes to mind.
I would say fake. I don't know. Maybe because I've seen some bad AI, like those examples where, like a limb is the wrong way. It's, like the elbow's facing out or something like that. You've seen like some real bad AI generated images and things like that. So like, I don't know. I just, I worry that it's fake.
And more so for sure for like the creating content and whatnot, but just powerful and how it can create efficiencies and how you do things on a day to day. Also scary, no doubt, but I don't think it's going away.
No, it's definitely not going away. And, I think like anything, if you use it correctly, used in moderation, right? I mean, when we were little, it was like, don't watch so much TV, your brain will turn to mush. Don't play so many video games, your brain will turn to mush. Well, like every bit in moderation
100%,
is good. So I think, that's kind of what I feel like we have to do with AI is just everything in moderation, right?
Yeah. So it'll be interesting. I mean, there's definitely not going away. So then it's a tool in your toolbox. Figure out how you're going to use it, what that looks like, and then there's more discovered about it, and we'll see. But it's crazy. I mean, it's mind-boggling to me, honestly.
Yeah, for sure. Well, leave comments for us. Let us know what you think, and we'll be back with another episode soon.
Yes, sounds good. Thanks, Jean.
Yep, thanks, Emily.